I make as many mistakes as the next person, maybe sometimes more, or they more than me. So I'm nobody perfect. But here's the one thing that we could all do right in life is a bit of advice that is so easy to miss because it's so mind-blowingly simple. It's the difficult things that stand out against a simple background that has our attention more. But sometimes that's problematic when we miss incredibly simple things like, oh, I don't know, whenever you're going out shopping, don't go shopping when you're hungry. You're going to buy all the wrong things. Um, don't look for a relationship when you're feeling lonely. You might grab the wrong person. Basically, you just come out of a relationship, you're feeling lonely from the contrast of always having somebody around when you need them. I love my own company. I like other people's company as well. I like to be social. But without my own company, without my own time, I go a bit nuts. Not really nuts, but I need that balance. Some people need somebody around a lot, and we all have our threshold of what we're used to against what is a change and so on. But isn't that just one of the core fundamental things that we get wrong in life? Is it's so simple. Never go shopping when you're hungry. You might grab the wrong things. In life, never get into a relationship because especially when you feel lonely. In life, get into a relationship if you want one, but don't get into a relationship you're feeling the emotion of being lonely. I want to be with somebody, and this emotion overrides the higher thinking of, is this sensible enough to do? And people confuse a sensible enough thing to do with that intuitive feeling. I'm not saying throw out your intuition or your emotion. It's there for a reason. It's very real tool, very useful in the right context. You might feel emotionally insecure around somebody where you're not sure why, but you might be picking up on the body language where you're not sure how to read it. Read up on body language, then you'd probably know, that's why I felt insecure around that person. They're not genuine. They seem to be hiding something, and it shows in their body language or whatever. But again, not knowing what it is, people fear the unknown, but also people are afraid to reveal themselves sometimes if there's some ulterior motive that they don't want other people to see. So fear helps to hide things, right? And it helps to cause more fear of the end, and because people fear the unknown. And there's a lot of, I think you get where I'm going here. When we're desperate, we go for anything. When we're really desperate, we grab anything. When we're desperate, you know, gambling addictions comes out of desperation as well. You get a big win, maybe if you're lucky. Leave it at that. Don't chase the feeling. There's like, whoa, if I put half of this in, um, my half of my winnings in, I'll get more, and do the same thing that so-called tactic they had. No, gambling. The word is a big clue. It's a gamble. There's no guarantee. If the system, like roulette wheel, if you really think you can crack that. There were some um, quote unquote geniuses that tried to crack that, and they did well for a while, but then they changed the depth of in casinos, the depth of the slot where the ball would fit into the roulette wheel. It made it a little bit more random. There's always a way in which the house always wins, because we are emotional creatures first before we're critical thinking second, and individuals will exploit that. Businesses exploit that. And again, this is what happens with excessive string pulling on emotion. Things fall apart because, as a businesses out there really want people to be addicted to their products. Is great for business. And gambling is no different. Selling food is no different, so on. I'm looking up a thing where psychologically it's actually possible to get people or individuals get themselves addicted to healthier foods, as opposed to the high sugars and caffeine and all this. It's possible to get addicted to healthier foods. I'm still looking into it. It'll be over on the other channel eventually one day. I'm still looking into it. It's fascinating. But this is really what makes us fail, is when we feel like we're losing out, but we have memories in our past and memories of, well, I want that again. I felt so good when I had that. Where it's food, company. If you attract the wrong kind of company, things can go really, really wrong in your life. Vastly. Some people are utterly poisonous, and they poison everyone around them, because they just take. They won't give nothing back, and they move on to the next person with no remorse or whatever how damage they've done to another person. So if you're emotional now because you feel lonely and you want a relationship, don't jump into a relationship. Just go out. Maybe in the case of the UK, public bars or social places. Just go out into a public bar, enjoy other people's company. Don't go out for a relationship. Go out for friendship, banter, talking to people. Don't go out in the nightlife if you're feeling that way, because everyone's out trying to compete with each other, or see who can get more drunk than the next person in nightlife. For most part, if you've got the time and the energy, go pick a bar. So maybe with a friend you already have, if you don't feel confident or safe going into a new bar, that's understandable. And yeah, ask around. Do you do food? Yeah, just break the ice. Suddenly you're not lonely anymore, but suddenly you're not going, oh, I want a relationship because I'm lonely. I'll pick this person, see how it goes, and it goes wrong. And then people do this a lot. They circle around and around and around. They think, oh, what am I doing in my life? Oh, I'm gonna need to split up with this person. They're terrible. Dieting, changing your diet. I've done it a number of times, and all I do is look back to a video. You've all seen it. I've made a video about it. How I had excess weight. There's still some body fat coming off, which is part of my goal. And it's coming off, I think, probably once I'm up to 18 months in, I might be pretty close to my goal. That's educated guess if the trend continues. I don't really know this. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't matter. Because I know where I can be. I've been there before. And I know that I don't need to go, oh, this isn't working, because I can be reminded of where I came from when I started. Never forget where you come from. If you come from, comparative detriment to how you are now. Um, Or I mean, I would look at an older video around September last year, September 2022. Excess weight, feeling lethargic. I mean, double whammy for the actual video was I was ill during that video as well. But I did a video and say this was me X amount of months ago. This is me now. And I'm feeling great. I sleep better and all this. Occasionally, though, when I look in a mirror, sometimes, some days I'm more bloated than others. That's true for anyone. And there'll be all kinds of reasons, like fluid retention or whatever, from day to day, why that happens to certain people. But you will get that moment. I guarantee. If you're trying to lose body fat, and trying to be healthier as well, whatever, you're gonna get that moment where you look in the mirror and thinking, "This isn't working. I look podgy today, and it's not coming off." I used to keep a photograph. Now I keep the video up. The photograph was in my wallet for too long. It sort of degraded and fell apart. Huge on that there. That was back in the day when I was binge drinking on the weekends. I have more muscle now, which is part of my goal as well. Because I've changed the certain things in my diet that will equal support of muscle tissue, and it will also equal support of different behaviors of burning body fat. Cold showers is actually one of those, and a supplement is another that I don't think. I've talked about supplementing before. Get through your mind. It's not a food. There's foods that are so processed sometimes you're losing out on some nutrients. So you might if you're really trying to be healthy in a structured manner, supplements can help fill in those gaps. But I look and I look in the mirror and I think, for a split second, you think this isn't working. And you think, yes, it is. Look where you were. And some days you go up in body fat, down, but comparative. If you've done something for several months down the line, comparative to where you started, it's going to be a lot better than from where you started. Stay on track, because you're far better than you were, and you're going to continue to be. You will continue to get those bloated days. It's human nature, biology. You'll be more bloated in the mornings. You may have noticed. You look in the mirror, you think your face is puffy. This is because at night when we sleep, the body retains fluids. It's to stop you peeing yourself at night. You might want to have a pee in the morning, which I normally do. If you're going at night about 2 a.m., you may have sugar imbalance problems because your body's building excess urine to try and flush excess sugars out of your body. That's what the 2 a.m. going away is. And maybe in men, you might struggle to go on a pee. That's prostate inflammation that squeezes your urine tube. But again, addictions and emotion marry each other. Oh, I feel like I'm missing out. I want that again. Do you want it, but do you need it? Having it, is it a good thing? Yeah, sure, you want to feel good again, but what got you to fail in the first place? Particularly look at that with relationships. Are you a sucker for a certain type of person that you find attractive, but along with that particular set of traits comes a number of undesirable traits? Well, rethink your strategy, because you're going to just set yourself up with failure over and over and over. Oh, I'm lonely, relationship, split up. Oh, I'm lonely, relationship, split up. If it's not working for you. All right? Just a bit of advice. You know, I see this, all of us, myself, everyone, it's so damn easy to get stuck in these loops. Whereas relationship, food, or I don't know, other addictions, or maybe people are addicted to gambling, people are addicted to porn, you know. If it's an addiction, then there's problems. If there's a bit of enjoyment now and then without having to seek out that one thing to get your fix, then, you know, if it's without that, then it's not a problem. Addictions, you know, it's addiction when it just becomes more important above everything else. You can't get anything done as long as you've had your fix. Nicotine addiction, cigarette smoking, alcoholism, junk food. It's all the same process, and we're looking for the flood of dopamine that make us feel good. The problem with, people call it dopamine hit, it's never a hit. You get a hug and it feels good, dopamine hit. Somebody praises you for something you've done at work, dopamine hit. People talk about this. They say dopamine. Somebody thumbs up your photo online, dopamine hit. Somebody comments underneath your video saying, great, amazing video, really made me think, dopamine hit. These are not hits. There's ebb and flow of dopamine all the time, and it might flow up a bit more when we get that reward feeling that we've done something, you know, fixed something, done something in your own home to make your home more efficient, whatever it is. But the things with addiction is higher peak, but it's short-lived. The gambling, the alcohol, the junk food, and it's big flood, short-lived. So you get dopamine boost, but it runs back to its base level too quick. So you're chasing that now. Dopamine is responsible for a lot of your drive and actions, how you feel positive, how you feel negative as well. It's fascinating. And then, you know, I talked about cold showers on the other channel. Having a cold shower in the morning, if it's long enough and it's done at the right timing and so on, brings your dopamine up after you get the adrenaline shock and all this. I mean, stone cold is not extra cold, but just the cold tap through a shower head. No hot water whatsoever. And your dopamine after starts to rise. Part of it rises because now you know you've achieved your morning goal to get it. And you've done this to really you feel refreshed and awake. And your dopamine will rise up throughout the day, in some cases up to a peak that increases the dopamine in your brain more than cocaine. So now you're thinking, well, that's bad because you're going to be addicted to the cold showers now. Well, I'd prefer the cold shower now, actually, would, than a warmer shower, because of the way it makes me feel after the fact, throughout the day, not during. And there is some people, I think there is part of me that actually enjoys it now. And there's people watching the video now and going, Ready? You didn't take your meds this morning. You're going to have a cold shower every morning? Yeah, once you start doing it, you realize all the ins and outs of what's happening. Yeah. But that peak, when it peaks up, it slowly ebbs back off. You don't get whoop up there and then off again, which will drive you excessively to try and get there again. So it increases your baseline as well in some cases. Your baseline, your dopamine goes up a bit, which will make you feel generally more focused and efficient at your day-to-day comings and goings. It's helped me at work. Pretty much, I come to work feeling focused and refreshed because moments less than an hour before I've had a cold shower. It's like 10-minute walk away, so I don't have to be stuck in traffic or whatever that could stress me out. It's walking, and walking's good for you as well. If I'm not working, I'm walking an hour every day. If I am working, I'm on my feet all day. The only time I get to sit down is break time anyway. If it's a short shift, I probably might get a half an hour. If it's it's an all day shift, I get an hour for lunch. Even shorter shifts, you don't have a break, which is fine. I'm okay. I'm used to all that now. The half hour and hour is taken out. It's which I disagree with actually, because if you're having your lunch on the premises, companies should still be responsible for you, and you're responsible for what's going on around you at the company, and they should be paying you. But gripes and moans here and there. It's never things are never 100% black and white, I guess. But I enjoy the job. It's one of the personally, I think for personal development, it's one of the best jobs I've ever had because I've done factory work for years. Again, you start to crave uh, finding intellect and company from other people, not the same people every single day, all day, with the same routine every day, all day. You can have actually break conversation with some customers. Some customers are dumb and blinkered and just can't see what's going on right in front of them. That happens a lot. Like you put a poster at the bottom of there's two floors in the shop. You can put a poster at the bottom of the stairs. Tells you in detail what's upstairs. Not in great detail. It tells you roughly what's upstairs. It's right by the tills. Tills right by the door. People walking. They're walking and there's stairs on their left. And I look at the till. What's upstairs? They had this poster especially printed for that. People's lack of awareness is scary sometimes. And I know the types that come in. One person comes in, he said, "Can I put these here on the till? Yeah, on the tills where we need to serve customers, other customers. Can I put these here? I'll be back in a minute." Oh, there are exceptions. There's people with walking sticks, and then it's awkward for them. So fine, we'll make exceptions. But there's others that I'm gonna, and they just keep piling it up. And there's baskets if you want to use one. No, it's all right. I'll use this spot. Really, yeah. There's plenty more to come. I wouldn't do that. Okay. I've seen them walking around with a bag of clothing, and I'm just leaving it by a table while they're walking around gathering things. It was two of them, and one could have carried the bag for them. And I'm thinking they're going to leave that bag. They're not making eye contact either. They're so blinkered. And this is not every customer. There's some like this, is my point. But we get so blinkered to our addictions of what we need to do and this and that, chasing our own tail, we don't see what is right around us. So I'm thinking that bag's going to be left by the table. She's going to be at the tills, ready to pay, and that's going to be left. She's going to forget. And that's exactly what happened. So I double check, is it still right behind the table? Yeah. Do you want to get your clothes? Oh, right, thank you, sir. I mean, I knew. I could see all this going on. You know what's going to happen before it happens sometimes. Right? if you're so excessively uh, every day, if you think you're missing out on something, you're probably not. You're really probably not, because that thing you think you're missing out on is going to be there tomorrow, the next day, the next day, you know, and it's usually because you think, oh, I have that feeling again if I ate that favorite food, or if I drink X amount of drink, or if I did this gambling thing, and it's just the primitive emotion. This is incredibly simple. So again, don't go out if you're feeling lonely, looking for a relationship. Go out and socialize, find friends, acquaintances, communicate. Don't go out food shopping when you're hungry. The gut has a gut biome, bacteria in your gut. They're used to your diet as much as you are. So who's craving that food? You or your gut bacteria? Which isn't you. There's no human DNA in the gut bacteria. There's a lot about the human biology that is symbiotic with other things, that it works that way, that isn't actually, you're there's a percentage of you that isn't human, but it's part of how the human body works, right? Think about that. Thank you for watching. Take care. I look forward to doing another video soon. Bye.